I have an exaggerated fear of things like rattlesnakes and alligators. I do believe in talent or recruiters, and whether or not you call them headhunters. Get in the door first, and then think about how do I change the minds of the way that work is done in this organization. I believe if you do good for others, more often than not, that good comes back to you. People remember that you're helpful. People remember that you connect. People remember that you don't hoard information, that you don't hoard relationships, that you don't hoard technology. Howdy folks, this is Paul Erickson, Be Your Own Coach. I am here in Palm Beach, Florida. We are wandering through the Frenchman's Creek Forest Natural Area. Just kind of want to update you on where we're at in the job hunt arena. Now, I've been doing a couple of different things as we go through this process, and one is that I'm very aggressively applying for jobs. One thing that I will try to encourage everybody to do is that LinkedIn still is a great place to find those jobs. It's probably where you're going to find the most jobs. I do believe in talent or recruiters, and whether or not you call them headhunters or otherwise, I think that they're valuable assets in these situations. It's always better if you've got somebody that has a relationship with some of these companies and then can talk good about you, make sure that your resume is getting seen, right? I will tell you that when you think about Indeed or LinkedIn, the percentage of those resumes that just land on the floor without really getting any review, it's astronomical, right? One of the things that LinkedIn does very well is promotes their service, so people know to go there, and almost all of these jobs, right, you're seeing hundreds of applications within the first day or so. So I've been consistently working with that. I do have 2 second interviews coming up this week. So I've gone through, been contacted through the HR departments, mostly to see if I'm a fit, what I'm looking for, make sure that the salary requirements and the location elements, travel, all of those logistics make sense. And then they typically put you in touch with hiring managers and hiring panels. I'm not sure exactly how each of these two works. I do think that what it is you're going to go through a hiring panel. You're going to have a fit hiring panel. And again, I'm in IT, so oftentimes there'll also be a culture fit is what I'm speaking to. Oftentimes you'll also have a technical panel. So they'll ask you questions in that regard. As we walk through the woods here, I can hear things scurry or there's a very large lizard just in front of me. I wish that I was fast enough to be able to get you to see these, but the lizards move very fast. They want nothing to do with humans. The tortoise, they're not quite so scared of the humans in this space. Sorry, but I'm in IT, so you'll usually have a culture fit interview, and that's more often than not with a group of people, and then you'll have a technology interview. Now, one of the things that I like, well, my hope is, I will tell you that when I'm on the interviewer side of this process, so I'm not the one being interviewed, it's rather important to me that I understand how you think and how you take coaching. Those are things that I think show up much better, especially if you're looking at those individual contributor roles. So in that situation, when you're in a technical interview, don't think that you're the smartest person in the room, and you might be. That's great if you are. Listen to what the people are saying to you, and if you think you can refute what they're saying, great, go ahead and refute it. But if you can't, take to heart what they're saying. And it might be that, now, as I was saying, if you're going in for the individual contributor panel, don't assume that technology efficiency is the only reason that a company does something. There could be many reasons why their pattern deviates from some accepted standards, or what people would say is the obvious first choice. And it could be that they have a relationship with a vendor that causes them to act in a certain way. They could be somebody who doesn't want to share their information. They think that data privacy is much more important, so they won't use things like public versions of OpenAI or public versions of GitHub, where their intellectual property can escape, right? Or they don't want to be training other people's models, right? If you think about it, that when you're putting money, or when you're putting data through OpenAI, Claude, any of these other LLMs, you're helping to train their model with your data. The most important thing in any kind of data science realm is the data, right? So data is king, where it used to be content is king. Data is king, and having clean, valuable data is just incredibly important in these worlds. So there are plenty of reasons why the technical interview might lead you away from what you think is the correct way of doing it. Try to understand what they're saying, try to adopt what they're saying, and make sure that you're trying to reshape the answers so they fit into what's being said in that situation. Now, I will tell you, I'm not telling you to swallow your strategic element. Get in the door first, and then think about, how do I change the minds of the way that work is done in this organization. Oh, I just saw a lizard run up this tree right behind me. Now, one thing you'll always notice, so you see the tree at an angle there, he's going to always be on the back side of it. Oh, he's already up into the fronds, up on top. He's way up there. All right. You guys are seeing behind me, so maybe you're going to be able to see more movement than I will back there. Get in the door and then use your strategic acumen and your ability to influence others at that point in time. Now, I'm going to make a pivot here and say, when you're open for a strategic position, or you're looking at a strategic or a leadership position, I think the things that are important here is that you're not looking to the interviewers to say, what do you want me to do? You need to be putting forth your opinions. It's really important that you show that your experience is valuable to the company, and that you've seen, heard, understand, know things that you should be doing that would be strategic advantages to the organization that you're trying to become a part of. So I think that's rather important. I'm still hearing little animals kind of wander past my feet. The floor here is somewhat pine needle, and then also there's an awful lot of deciduous trees. So there's leaves that are dried. The palm fronds are dried. I don't know. Let me see. I don't know if this will let you see down there, but yeah, you've got those dried palm fronds. And as the little lizards scamper across the top of that, or as squirrels scamper across that, I will tell you that it makes you flinch a little bit. I have an exaggerated fear of things like rattlesnakes and alligators in this area. That while they do exist here, and you do have to think about that kind of element down here, they're not behind every tree looking to ambush you. So, and I still believe that most animals are much more afraid of humans than we are of them. So, the one thing I'll say is that I do think that alligators and crocs do believe that humans are a food source. Very few other animals look at humans as a food source. Typically, if you're finding yourself in trouble with, a snake, a bear, those kinds of animals, you've surprised them, you've come across them, and you've made them a little bit fearful. Okay, so let's get back to what I've been doing. I'm still fine-tuning my resume for every job description that I see out there. As soon as I make the job description, I try to find connections at that company, and I will create introductions. I'll say, be a little bit leery of asking AI to, LinkedIn's AI is a little bit rudimentary. It's noticeable that you've chosen AI as the way to connect with that person. So when you're trying to get somebody's attention, there's the sandwich element, right? Show them that you have something to offer to them, right? So there's I have something to offer you, here's what I'd love in return, and here's the things that I think I can continue to do for you, right? I err on the side of karma, right? I will not hoard information. There have been a couple of positions which I've applied for, and when I've spoken to them, I said, oh, you know what, this isn't for me, but you want to talk to this person, or you want to talk to that person, or here's a company that's working in the same place, or the thing that you do would be very valuable to one of my ex-employers, and I will definitely send you in that direction. I have no real ill will towards former employers. I believe if you do good for others, more often than not, that good comes back to you. People remember that you're helpful. People remember that you connect. People remember that you don't hoard information, that you don't hoard relationships, that you don't hoard technology. Right? I think that's a rather important element. And the idea, while it's important to me to find a new job, right? I do have a bit of a parachute here, and I was a good busy beaver, and I was the ant, not the grasshopper. So I did save away money. I want that money to still be there when I go into retirement. But for the most part, I don't have to take the first job that comes along. I can be a little bit choosy in regards to what I want to do, but I'm being aggressive, and I'm applying as frequently and as often as I possibly can in making sure that I can land that next opportunity. Now, something else that I have been considering is jumping into a startup or creating a startup, and I do have a couple of ideas for applications, and I naturally have to keep those a little bit secret. I am not planning on being the individual contributor at the next company. I typically scratch my own itch back to coding by doing hobby projects, right? I like working on things that I enjoy. I've never gone into a company, right? The one thing that I always kind of remind people, when you work for a company, you're doing what they need to have done, and you need to be able to live with that. So there are cool projects that you might want to do, and sometimes you can negotiate your way into those spaces where, hey, I'll do 3 for you, 1 for me, or elements of that nature. But for the most part, one of the challenges about corporate work is the idea that you're doing work for somebody else, not work that you fully feel in love with. Oh, I wonder if we'll get this or not. Oh, it moved too fast. So we just saw the red-bellied woodpecker. So the way that I've always done that is, if I need to code or I have the itch to create, I'll go home and I will just do a quick little phone app or something like that. Even if it's something that's only beneficial to me, then I like to say, hey, stay connected in that way. The other thing that I've been doing is I've been joining like the Elks and the Moose Lodge, right? Back in the day, if you were a Jackie Gleason fan, and the Honeymooners, right? But these fraternal organizations, and again, you know, some are much more charitable and beneficial to society than others. You know, Knights of Columbus. These are, you know, these stalwarts of community helpful organizations. I think that those are incredibly good. There are others that are, you know, could lever or border on cultish or bad behaviors, dangerous behaviors. So again, be somewhat careful in regards to what's going on there. But that's a great way to connect. And while a lot of the people in these spaces are retired, they have relationships with their legacy businesses, whether or not they've left a business behind because they sold a business, or they've, you know, they were executives and have moved into their retirement phase. You know, they can still broker conversations and, you know, expand that network. So every week, I want to have 25 new people in my network, and I want to make sure that I've got probably 100 resumes out there. I don't know if those are the right numbers or not. They're just the numbers that I chose. But I do checklist that. So every Monday I clear out the spreadsheet. And then as we go through the week, I write down the tallies and I say, okay, did I make progress or not make progress this week? It's also important that, you know, this is a time where, while I'm not working, you know, go do other things that get you away from the computer. Enjoy yourself a little bit. Again, I'm not in a crisis where I need a job tomorrow. This past week, I took kite surfing lessons. Really, really enjoyable. I do think that I'm going to continue doing that. And while it takes, you know, quite a bit of time now, right? I've got to dedicate hours at a time to it. As it eventually you become a little bit more natural to it, and it's like, you know what? When I do have that job or that next goal in life, no matter what it be, hey, I'm off work. I've got my board and my kite in the trunk. I'll stop by the beach on the way home and I'll go surf for a bit, right? Or paddleboard, right? That's something else that I really want to get into. That there are calm spaces on these paddleboards or on these waterways here that I think it's rather enjoyable to just go ahead and see if you can enjoy your surroundings, right?